Hello, Otafest listeners, and welcome to the newest episode, this week's episode of the Otafest podcast. I'm Jay, and joining me are Nancy and Angelo.
Hello.
And me.
Hello.
And Angelo.
It's
and
me.
That guy.
And Nancy. And Angelo.
I'm Angelo.
And Nancy. And myself.
And this guy.
Hello, Jay.
Hello, Jay. Hello, that guy.
Hello.
this
I ended
guy.
it before it got too
Every
tiresome.
guy.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. How you find? Thank you.
Exactly.
But now that we have that out of the way, we've got some news and announcements for you. Meet our performance guest of honor, Neat. A music producer, fighting gamer, and self-proclaimed real-life anime protagonist. Neat is a Filipino-Canadian music producer and live performance DJ from Calgary, Alberta. You can learn more at otafest.com/neat.
I've heard of Calgary, Alberta.
I've heard of Otafest.com.
And more importantly, I've heard of Neat. Sick music. Check them out.
Remember to get your applications for Sketch Drive and the Oda Factor, Otafest singing competition, and most of all, pre-purchase your Otafest 2022 tickets today at otafest.com.
Exciting.
All of those things. Yes. Neat's been to Otafest before. Before he performed with James Landino.
Yep.
We brought him back. We wanted him back for a little while, but we haven't been a live show for a little while, so it's kind of weird how that works out. But we finally got him. Check him out on like Spotify and his website and our website. I just really genuinely like his music.
I follow him on IG, and every now and again he posts like sick loops on
His
like
Instagram
his story.
is pretty good.
So fun. Just
Yeah.
so fun. He like remixes little scenes and stuff that come up in anime, and it's just the man is TikTok worthy. It's just right there. Everything right there.
And I know he's really like he's always been serious about his projects, but like he's been working on them. Like I know he's been traveling to work on projects as well. Like he's really, really focused on making it. And I really want to support him. And I hope everyone supports him and Otafest supports him. So he's got us as a fan base as a standard, which is, I hope, hoping that vouching for him is good there. But really want people to listen in and expect a really cool performance on the Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
So
What's a
excited.
real-life anime convention without a real-life anime protagonist?
Right?
Exactly.
He's
What
got
we
pro
need.
tag power.
He does. He has protag energy for sure. And I don't mean like too like silly shonen. He's not Goku. Goku is not a good shonen protag.
I love it.
But yeah. Regarding the second part of our news, we are also going to be at Calgary Expo, which is coming up. I totally forgot to put that in until I just remembered. And as usual at our booth, we will be selling some merch. We will have tickets available. And usually if you come by and get your tickets there, we usually help you out with not having to pay service fees.
Let's
So
go.
Pop by. Yeah, no one needs to pay service fees.
Skip those annoying service fees so you can
True.
spend it at the Otafest merch booth or the Otafest vendor hall or
Yeah.
any of the venues at Otafest.
Speaking of service fees, and something that I think we all feel sort of passionate about, even though like logistically or mathematically it doesn't really make sense sometimes, like to have to worry about it. Shipping charges. No one likes shipping charges.
I hate shipping charges.
As do
Right?
I.
Like, because you're not paying, like, we understand that there is like someone who actually gets us the thing, the deliverer,
Oh,
the mailmans. But that being said, we don't want to think of it that way because we're like, I want the product. Give me product now. And I'm always been sort of the opinion that we should be just bundling that into your price anyways.
Yeah.
Sort of like GSTs and PSTs, things like that. Just put them in there. Something same, like not exactly the same, but like tipping. Just make your product cost a little bit more, and don't make me think that I have to pay extra on top. I'm saying this because we've talked about monitors, we talk about keyboards, we talk about graphics cards, and now I'm talking about something that I hold near and dear to my butt.
Ergonomics?
My chair.
Yeah.
Yes. And for a long time, I've had like lots of, as I'm sure most people do, just kind of had like pretty meh office chairs, desk chairs. Nothing too crazy. Like my most current chair right now is like an Amazon chair, which has held up for like almost 3 years. But like I like looking at the price that you're paying and the overall construction of the product that I was about to receive. I'm like, this is what I expected about 3 years, and now the arm is broken and like some of the support material is like starting to wear down, like foams and stuff like that. So I finally decided to bite on buying the big ergonomic desk chair for a comfy butt.
Did you get the big brand?
I got the Hermie Millies.
You goddamn Herms. Okay, so
Hermie Millies.
So as someone who had to help another person with an order of one of these Herman Miller like top of the line best chair you could possibly buy for your back and butt, it was interesting doing the shopping around because not many places in Calgary actually have them in stock for you to try, to sit in, to like, and it's a lot of money. It is not a trivial amount of money. And I know that office chairs, like decent office chairs can be like a few $100, which is also not a trivial amount of money, but like put another zero behind that.
It's so most of the chairs I've ever bought are in like, the $200 range.
Yeah.
This is times that by 10.
Yep.
Yep. I was talking about shipping fees. Herman Miller being a sort of like quality company, they just don't have shipping fees for their office chairs.
You know why?
Straight up.
Do you know why?
It's
the chairs, a lot of them come completely fully assembled.
Some
of the boxes are like a 6 foot by 6 foot cube.
Oh yeah, they're huge. And then you just like open the box and the chair rolls out of it and it's ready to go.
If you were like, yeah, I'll spend $200,000 on an office chair, but wait a minute, they want to charge me $500 for shipping? No. I was okay for the chair, but for the truck to get here? No. And that's the reality. Like the way that they package their chairs, it would be, it's exceptionally more expensive to sell.
Yeah, and it's not like
ship,
the kind of parcel that you can just like toss into the back of a truck and have it trucked, or depending on where it's coming from. If it's one of the chairs that's coming, from Europe, it's going on to an actual boat,
Right.
And like,
I will say
it's not trivial.
Yeah, I will say that, $2,000 is a lot for a chair, a desk chair, but I spend a lot of time in it. Like I spend more time in front of my computer than I do in front of like a TV. So, I think it's worth it. We've talked about Herman Miller chairs before. We've talked about chairs a little bit in general before. I could have bought one used, and it would have cost me anywhere from like $400 to like $600, depending. But I get the 12-year warranty, 12-year warranty. I think
I've said it before. The first time I tried a Herman Miller chair, me and Dio were out furniture shopping, and You know that in the same plaza that the IKEA and there's a JYSK just off of Glenmore, I think it is.
It's the only IKEA we have.
Yes,
When you said IKEA, it's already like a given.
There is another furniture store, the name of which escapes me in that same plaza. Me and Dio walked in there, and after looking at like 3 price tags, we were already like, holy shit, this place is out of our price range. Let's just look around. Let's pretend we're rich people for the next 20 minutes to see how rich people live. And we found some Herman Miller chairs. And so we sat down, and Jesus Christ, I wish I had not.
Oh, no.
It was so
You wish you
comfortable.
didn't know.
It was so good. I was ignorant before.
Yes,
I was one of the unwashed masses, but after that moment in time, I was a learned man.
Your naive eyes were opened.
Knowingly, I looked at the price tag to see what such an artifact of
What
the
did that
bourgeoisie
sticker shock feel like?
would run. And the blood ran from my face. The blood ran from my face. I went white with sticker shock. It ran right to my butt so that I could somehow, perchance, feel this comfort for just a little bit longer.
Oh, man.
True.
At that point in time, I knew that I personally would never have a Herman Miller chair.
Aw.
Dio, on the other hand, was convinced she needed one, and it's been fantastic for her.
I'm going to say that I don't know how anyone else sort of uses their office chairs at home. Over the last 2 years, especially with more people working from home, and I didn't even work from home. I will say, like, I worked a little bit from home, but not as a full-timer. But I do spend a lot of time in front of my computer because I'm a gamer and a bunch of Otafest work has to get done, so on and so forth. I just spend a lot of time at my computer instead of like the living room area or the dining or the, whatever. So I used a lot of office chairs. I've broken a lot of office chairs through everyday use. And, I would say that at $2,000, and not every Herman Miller chair is $2,000, but the one that I got, which is like one of the really nice ones, I'm not going to lie, I would rather pay, you do the math, and maybe over like 8 years, I've had maybe like 3 office chairs costing me around $200 to $300 each. And that'd be like, well, that means you're only spending like $900 over, just under 12 years if you want to talk about the warranty. And you'd be like, you're not getting your value. I know that this chair will last me longer than the 12 years. Mm-hmm. It's not just about the warranty. I'm sick of buying chairs. They market this chair as the last office chair you'll ever have to buy.
Honestly,
that's true.
I don't even think you have to work that hard to justify it. If you're anything like one of the 3 of us, you're probably in your computer chair for at least 5 hours a day, maybe even closer to 8, if your computer is your main entertainment source, like a lot of people that I know. And so the reality is, like, if you would spend $1,500 on like a couch, on like a brand new couch, the same amount of money on a computer chair that will explicitly help your back, your butt, your overall comfort, your quality of life, it's not that insane. Now, having that said, it's a little bit insane for me. I only spent up to $500 on my office chair. I think that's the kind of the limit for me. Mm-hmm. But the difference there is Dio got a box, rolled out her chair, and could sit in it within minutes. Mm-hmm. I got a box, and I had to spend the next hour assembling my chair. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I have a very nice chair. I have like an Ergo Chair 2, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. It has a very nice headrest. I really like it. It's pretty good. My only complaint so far is that the ass padding is not enough. You need better padding. But for literally a third of the price of Dio's chair, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I have to know, Jay, what did you choose for all of your color choices?
So I went with the Aeron.
Very nice. It's very classic choose.
I mean, my work environment usually uses Aerons, so I am spoiled.
You're just
And
used
I'm
to
like,
it.
why would I want to use a different one at this point? I like, there's some other good ones, but let's be honest, the Aeron is nice. Also, I will say right now, and obviously Herman Miller is not a sponsor of Otafest, so I shouldn't really be promoting it, but it does help that they have 15% off. And 15% off $2,000.
That ain't nothing.
It's a lot. 15% doesn't sound like a lot from a percentage standpoint, but from an amount,
Yeah.
it is.
I will, I can cover the $200+, but I could also save the $200+.
And have yourself a couple of really
smart.
swanky meals.
I went with, it's probably the most boring setup, but they have, so their default is graphite, which is like a dark gray, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have an onyx, which I chose, which is straight black, matte black.
Nice.
For the Aerons, do you get to choose the frame color?
Yes. You mean like the, where the wheels are attached, their armrests are attached, that kind of thing?
No. I mean like the frame that goes around the mesh backing on.
No,
No?
they
Okay.
don't. They either come in straight like a white, essentially, or it's basically gray, white, or black for the actual chair itself.
Okay.
Like the backing and the seat, and then you for like the secondary colors. So like I said, like the under of the armrests, the part where your the wheels attach to what is that thing called?
The legs.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I guess it would be the legs. Yeah. You can choose that to either be a silver finish or black. I choose black because I've never liked the silver finishes. So I just went straight black, and I went with all the posture options, the adjustability options. I did not go for leather armrests.
What type of casters did you get?
Silent.
Uh-huh.
The multi-surface, because I like my place is vinyl hardwood, and then or vinyl laminate, I guess. But for my actual like office area, I have a small like circle rug so that my feet are comfy, But I would figure that just having the multi-surface caster with quiet roll is the selection.
Very nice.
So-
Very nice.
It costs extra, but I'm saving the 15%. I don't really care that much at this point. I'm just happy that I will just basically not have to think about buying another office chair in another 3 years, because I do need, my current chair is dying anyways. This was a great time. この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Since 2005, Plamod has been importing and supplying plastic models to local hobby stores, including Gundam, Pokemon, and many other franchises across Canada. Plamod is the only official Canadian distributor of Bandai model kits and modeling tools such as GSI paints and God Hands. They have a diverse amount of products, tools, and models that are distributed, and revolving new products coming in regularly. Check them out today at plamod.com.
It's hard to express how much better a good office chair will do you. Like my last office chair before this one was actually an insanely good value. I got it from the garbage store.
The garbage store?
Yes.
It's not actually called that, is that?
No. So just south of Okotoks, literally right beside the dump, is a place that's called the Salvage Center.
Oh.
See, because I'm sort of like, look, I know we don't try to mention too many brands and not try to confuse them for sponsors, but you don't have to call them the garbage store.
So I lovingly call them the garbage store because of some old college memes between me and friends.
I see.
So, the Salvage Center, it's basically people drop off old unwanted furniture or things that are still in usable condition, and you can go buy them. Last time, so I went through, since I moved here, 2 or 3 of those like Walmart office chairs, like the nice pleather ones that supposedly have good padding, a nice backing to them. And within 8 months, they always just crap out. The wheels break, the padding deflates. Sometimes they'll stab your cheeks with whatever screws the base was attached with.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I was like, okay, I can't afford anything really nice, but I'm going to the garbage store. What do they got? And so I found one, completely steel framed, really good casters, a dated textured fabric on it, but otherwise the padding was good. Some of the armrests weren't perfect, and the one thing that I noted was that the gas cylinder on it slowly over time just lets out the air.
That is one of the first things that'll happen.
But this thing, brand new, would have been probably like $1,500. This was an office chair for fatties, and I got it for $15.
All right.
You know what? That chair, I'd gone through like 3 chairs in the previous 2 years, and this chair lasted me about 8 years until I bought my ergo chair here.
That's good. I generally only expect, like, I don't think I bought like super cheap chairs, but I do feel like I only expect most of the office chairs I've had to last 4 years maximum. So I'm just tired. I'm just done with it. I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll arrive middle of the month, and then my butt will be in a better place.
So I'm glad that you managed to get this while there was a deal on, because
They don't do deals often.
they don't do deals often. It's very, it's very easy to miss a sale. Last week, I bought something that is not super cheap, but also not super expensive. It was in like the between 100 and 200 USD mark. And literally the day after I bought it, it had gone out of stock. I had hemmed and hawed about it and told myself I didn't need it. I don't really need the new whatever. And then I decided I'll just wait. And then it went out of stock. I noticed it went out of stock, and that bothered me, which meant that I actually wanted it. So
Right.
I kept an eye on it, and then the next time it came back in stock, I just got it. The day after I got it, I got an email that they were doing a sale.
But did you email them back?
I did. I emailed to ask if it would be possible to just get that honored, because I literally bought it, and they said no. But I asked, right?
But then I would just ask for a refund and order it again.
Well, I basically sent in an email offering like one of the two. It was like, hey, I just ordered yesterday. You haven't shipped it out yet. Can I just get this applied so that I don't have to cancel and reorder? And like, I gave them the choice. I could do either one, whichever one. And they were just like, yeah, we're not going to go ahead with the canceling your order. And I was like, God damn it. So I just kept it. But like, mistimed sales are just the worst sometimes.
Why did you keep it?
Because I paid through PayPal, and PayPal refunds are kind of annoying.
You go through PayPal?
I did for that one because I had PayPal balance to use.
I know that feeling.
Some of my clients like to pay through PayPal.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it it wasn't like huge. Like it was only like 10% off or something like that.
Like in the grand scheme of things, it was a small discount, but what they were offering was a free sleeve for me to carry said item with, so that I don't bang it up whenever I'm taking it around with me.
I understand.
So, it was just like a quality of life thing versus do I want to go back and order another order for like this one $20 thing?
Honestly, I'd rather not go with those promo items. I'd rather go and get the thing that I actually want instead of just take the free thing.
Well, I mean, it's an accessory that they made for the thing. I could have gotten it as part of my order, but I chose not to because I was like, oh, I don't really need it. And then when the sale came up, I was like, oh, I could have gotten a free one. Dang.
Yep.
So, it's not a huge loss, but it brought to mind the whole idea of like, when you want something and it's just a mistimed deal, the sale starts like the day after you got it.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Jay didn't have to deal with that.
I am also glad. Thank you for being glad for me. I knew that I don't want to. I want to end this topic pretty soon, to be honest. But like, I also knew that Herman Miller does do very, very rare sales, and one of them is in the springtime. So I was like, maybe.
Maybe.
I was like, maybe.
Maybe.
Again, on a $2,000 furniture item, I will take any percent off. Really.
Seriously, that's a big savings. It's a
It
really
is.
big savings.
Yep.
So super happy with it. I'd recommend for anyone, especially who they're like, you're working from home and you're continuing to work from home and, just need that back support and just don't want to think about buying another chair. Do the thing. Look for a better chair. Another weird thing that I guess we can talk about. I have no idea what any of this has to do with Otafest anymore. So this is like a personal thing, but over the last 5 to 10 years, I have been so privileged, to be honest, to be involved in my friends' weddings. And I say this like not just as a guest, but like due to personality, I am often asked, even before someone has a wedding, to maybe consider being like the MC, which is again like an honorable thing that. I don't take it lightly, and I try to entertain when people ask. I will say, though, that over time, I get tired of it, not because I think it's like not something I want to be a part of. It's just because I like attending the wedding as like a spectator in a sense, or like the MC's usually, during the reception and we're not. But the idea being like, I want to just be able to like sit, drink, eat, chill,
Chat.
not have to host so much, right? So something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time, and I've just put in my application on a whim, is to become a marriage commissioner in the province. You can only do it for your province.
Oh wow.
And not even just for your province, it has to be just for your community. So I could only do it if I get accepted. I can only do it for Alberta. That being said, there's like 2 ways of doing it. You can either apply and like they'll almost always guarantee that you can do it for just a single day. So you can just officiate a wedding and have the power to do so for one day. Or you can become an actual commissioner, which is a limited position. Like there's only so many. They don't just approve everybody. And you actually have to put in a full application and like a resume and a cover letter. Like it's almost like applying for a job because you can be paid for it. The other one, you can't get paid for it, not legally.
Ah, okay.
So there is a difference there. I don't really care about getting paid for it, but I did apply to be a commissioner. Just not because I think like, I'm going to be asked by every friend I know or something like that to do it. But I felt like if I was going to do it, I should just do it and just have that additional responsibility. And that way I could like gain experience doing it. And I'm not just doing it for a day where I'm like, these two are getting married. Bob.
You're going from the
And Bob.
backyard wedding guy to becoming the weddinator.
Oh my.
Yes, I'll make sure to put that in my profile.
That is your
For when people are
official
looking. The
job
weddinator.
title, Nina.
Yes.
Yeah.
The weddinator.
Yeah, but I was just like, I think being an officiator would be really fun. Something that I feel like is obviously it's a very important part. Not that that's really my, I guess, like supreme interest, but I feel like that way I can enjoy the reception and while still being part of, the ceremony that people want me to be a part of. So I'm like, here's my compromise. I'll officiate it so I can eat later.
Let's go.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if it'll go through. But they'll like. I don't expect anything to happen immediately. But they hold my file for 2 years if there's no like current opening, and apparently there's a whole interview process and everything like that. But I feel like I have, generally speaking, the right credentials and hopefully the right ability. So we'll see what happens.
My
Could
plan
be
is much
interesting.
simpler. Much, much simpler. I simply make friends with not single people who are also not married, and then eventually just get invited.
Also works.
Works pretty well. Not gonna lie.
No. You'd be surprised. I've already emceed 3 weddings, and I feel like that's more than most people have done.
I'm fairly certain, just by the law of averages, that most people have not even emceed one.
And I have been asked to MC other ones where my friend doesn't even have a partner yet, but they're like serious about it, and they ask me, and I've gotten to the point where I'm saying that I've explained that I don't want to do it, not because I don't value them as a friend, is because I don't feel like I should have I like enjoying the reception part. The reception part to me is the most fun because that's like, the post congratulatory part. Like, you get to hang out, you get to just really enjoy the energy, but I don't have to be like, oh, let's set up this game. Hey, let's
How does that happen,
start
though?
up this thing.
Roll that back. They said that they're still like, you said that they're like still single, but they're asking you about this. What are they like? Jay, I'm scrolling Tinder every single day. I'm swiping right on every single person I see, all for the honor of you to MC our wedding.
That's exactly it.
I don't know who it is.
They don't really want to get married.
I'll take anything at this point
in
in time.
They just want me to host.
As long as you're
badly.
hosting the wedding.
Why not just have a great big birthday party and have you host it?
Or have like a barbecue.
I don't want to do any of that.
This is fair. Can you officiate
Like
my
I
next
said,
birthday party, Jay?
I don't hate emceeing. I just have done it enough where I'm like, okay, let's go. It's like I've never been part of a wedding party, but I've heard from other people who have been part of wedding parties. They're like, it's cool the first time. And I'm like, I can understand that. I think with the officiating though, like I'm not saying there's no work to be done. There is. And it's a very traditional and sort of time-honored position. So like you can't just take it for granted or anything like that. But certainly I feel like I want to push harder at doing a good job of that and provide, I guess, that service as opposed to, again, just doing something I've done a lot that's more fluid, but less like, in some way it's less rewarding. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, okay. Would you enjoy officiating over a wedding of 2 people whom you have no personal connection with?
You have to go through a whole process though. You have to like meet, you have to plan. Mm-hmm. So eventually I would know these people, and I have, like, I don't know yet, but I assume that technically speaking, you could refuse
you could
someone's
fire your
requests.
guests.
Like, not necessarily after meeting them, but you can figure out like, oh, if, for whatever reason. But like, I don't know. I think that'd be nice too, because you're happy for the sake of someone else's happiness. Mm-hmm. You just hope that for some reason that the couple you're marrying, you just don't absolutely hate.
I'm mad kidding.
It is definitely an
kidding.
interesting thing where you come back to work on Monday or, the next time you have work and so says, hey, how was the weekend? Yeah, I married a dude and his dude. It was great.
I think that would be a source of many interesting stories.
Mm-hmm. But I would take every opportunity to say it very strangely just to like get that double take. For as long as it actually works. And then, after that, it would probably just become a normal topic.
A little bit. But yeah, if I get the opportunity, if I get the interview and all that kind of stuff, I think it would just be a very interesting thing to do. And I could do it for my friends and family, but I could also just marry strangers. And I think that'd be great. And that is my weird thing that I wanted to bring up. I don't know why.
That's fair, but no, that's actually an interesting thing to talk about. I'm just here thinking it's like, okay, how out of context could you possibly say that you were doing this? It's like, oh yeah, what did you do this weekend? It's like, oh, I married a dude. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize you swung the way. It's like, oh no, I married a girl too. And it's like, oh, what, sir?
I marry.
Sir, it's like, yeah,
both
I
ways,
married them like, to each other. I'm
Interestingly
not
enough,
married though. I'm not.
And I don't know if interesting is the right word. It sort of makes sense. If you become an marriage, oh my God, I keep on forgetting the word. Commissioner, thank you. You cannot do religious weddings.
Yes, that is the point.
Yeah, you can do traditional, or you can include traditional elements from different like backgrounds and everything like that. But you cannot specifically do a, let's say, Hindi or Christian or
Lutheran,
whatever religion that someone
no
might be part of.
Pastafarian marriages for Jay.
No,
Dang it!
we're
Bless
carb
his
free,
heart.
baby.
I'm gonna have to keep my nice colander in the cupboard for that one. Feels bad. My grandma's colander has to stay in the cupboard for that one.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
Shame.
You know what else my grandma's colander stayed in the cupboard for?
What?
Making a video game, because you don't use colanders for that.
You could.
Yeah, I think you're not being creative enough.
You're probably right. I just couldn't figure out how to use it to do pixel art. But so over this past weekend, Ludum Dare happened. And Ludum Dare is a really big game jam that just takes place over the course of the weekend. Usually there's 2 of them every year. And I've wanted to really take part of it for the last few years. But every time it comes around, I'm working at that point in time. And so this is actually my last weekend where I'm unemployed. So it was my last chance for a little while to really take part in it. And so I did the hard mode, which is 2 days, 48 hours. And the hard mode for Ludum Dare is you have to make all of the assets, the sound effects, the music, the art, the programming, everything, one person.
Yikes.
With a couple caveats that you can reuse your old code.
Ooh.
For logos and stuff, you can use your own logos. And for like sound effects, you can use like sound effect generators and such.
Right.
But those are basically it. And so I threw myself at it. It started on Friday at 7 p.m. And I was like, let's go, baby. Let's do the thing. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do. And while it was difficult, it was really fun. And I learned an important lesson, which is, good God, it's hard to focus on one fucking thing for 48 hours. I tell you what, jeez. God damn.
How much sleep did you get?
So I slept a normal amount, completely normal amount. I did wake up early, like 6 a.m.-ish. But like if you think about like a normal work day where you're working for 8 hours and you're taking like 15 minutes every now and then, you're taking your lunch hour or whatever, your break, and you're stopping to just not work on the thing. And every day on Saturday, multiple times a day, I was looking for anything else to do except work on the game, even though that was my fun thing to do for the weekend. I was like, at one point I was like playing Overwatch. Another time I was just like watching some Twitch streams.
You needed a brain break.
You do. You really do. And it's like...
Yeah. Can I interject with something?
Go for it.
So I know what game jams are. I think most people do, but I didn't know what Ludum Dare was specifically, because I was like, it started off with, I don't know what Ludum Dare means. So I had to Wikipedia it. I had to look it up. And I just wanted to add like this extra info because I thought it was interesting. Ludum Dare is Latin, meaning to give a game. they've been around for 20 years.
Yes.
And this was the 50th anniversary.
It was not 50th
Well, not
anniversary.
50th event.
20th anniversary, 50th event.
Yes. So they run multiple times a year, at least twice a year. Obviously, the math works out that they're at 50, but it's the 20th anniversary. So a little bit strange in terms of like, you know, the consistency. But overall, very impressive. I'm like on reading upon it, it's just like there's a lot of involvement in the indie community. There's a lot of like really cool titles that I've seen before in like the winning titles and things like that. So,
well, it's like at this point in time, the game jam isn't even over completely. There's different segments of the game jam. One of them is going on for one more day at the time of recording. But so far, there are over 1,000 submissions in it. There are over 5,000 people that have signed up for it. There are a ton of games waiting to be published. So it's going to be a daunting task to start going through and like rating them, telling people what you think about them. But that's kind of part of the fun. So part of it is making the game. And my game that I made, I had a lot of fun with it. If anyone remembers a really old Flash game called Nanaka Crash from like literally 20 years ago at this point, it's basically a shameless ripoff of that with my own spin on the graphics. And it's just been so long that I've played the game that I wanted to make my version of it, almost like a love letter to it, you know? And it was just really fun. I'm really excited. I want to hear what other people think of it. Whether they like the graphics, the gameplay, whether they thought it was absolute garbage and never want me to make an indie game again. I would hear all of it. Oh, we're just getting started. It is days of rating still left to go. I'm just, it's very fun. And hopefully I do get to take part in another one sometime soon. Maybe another one this year, maybe one next year.
What do winners get?
Nothing. You made it good.
Bragging rights.
Nothing.
Literally bragging rights.
But great
cool with
bragging
that.
rights.
So
I'm cool with
there's kind of like two different parts of the game jam. One is the compo, which is the hard mode, if you will. It's only 48 hours. You have to go it alone, and you can't use anything that was already existing other than very few exceptions, like your code and some logos and such. That's what I entered, but there's also the jam. The cool thing about the jam is that it's not you don't go alone. You can group up with as many people as you want to. You can reuse some old art assets, you can reuse some old game assets, you can reuse some music you've made.
The point is just to make something.
It's encouraged that you make an original thing,
Right.
but there's nothing stopping you from reusing things that you've made in the past, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And this year specifically for this event, they added on a third event, the extra event, which is just basically from now until the end of the month, which is just, make something. Have fun. It's not going to get rated.
Smart.
It's not for any kind of competition or bragging rights. It's just
But they just want
make
people
a
to
thing.
make something. That's good.
exactly.
And I'm sure that, we say bragging rights. I'm certainly aware that there must be perhaps developers and publishers of a professional nature who are looking at these ideas and willing to maybe work with and partner with some of, not necessarily just the winners, but the people who are in these competitions, just
absolutely.
because it is sort of a recruiting fair, I think, in a sense, right? And people are showing off their technical abilities, they're showing off their artistic abilities, everything that kind of goes into making a video game, and they assess the talents that are there. They assess what they can see to be like, oh, this is something that we are really interested in. This person has, like once they network, they can see sort of the people's skill sets and talents and passions and things like that. And probably not that many, actually become a huge opportunity, but it's a stepping stone and it's an opportunity. And if there's anything that I always advise people on, it's to always take the first step. And this
Exactly.
is the first step for a lot of people. So
Straight up, there are actually a lot of Ludum Dare games that got later development to become their own game, like a commercial property, and oftentimes, well, sometimes, I shouldn't say often, but sometimes an actual commercial success.
right. I mean, I think there is it's probably good to differentiate between, you know, publishing something and it becoming a success. That being said, again, that's still part of that first step process, that first step mentality, which is you got to get there first. You got to put it out there. You have to make the stuff. And before that, you got to plan the stuff. And before that, you have to have the will and the idea and all that kind of stuff. But you put it all together. All these first steps lead to your final product and to the next first step.
Exactly. Like a journey of 1,000 miles
Essentially.
consists of several thousand first steps.
Yeah. And that sounds redundant to say first step. Is like, isn't it just the next step? That's
Nah,
what
there's a
people
lot
think
of
all the
first
time.
steps.
But first steps are more common than people think.
Not every step will be a first step, but there's a lot of first steps in any given journey, I tell you what.
But I'm very proud of you for doing this. I know that you've been working in on games in general, but this is a big challenge, and it's a big test of anyone's will, to be honest. So to see that you put something out there, I think that deserves a lot of recognition.
For sure.
Exactly. Especially
I don't know anyone
considering
else who's on it.
the last non-game jam game that I put out took 6 months to make.
Oof.
There you
And
go.
it's certainly better than my game jam game. It's more polished. It looks better. It's more of a complete thing. But I mean, 6 months as opposed to 2 days. Goddamn.
Yeah. How are you feeling after that 2-day spree?
I'm feeling fine.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I didn't really push myself to the point of exhaustion. I was just like, you know what? I'm doing this for fun. I'm going to have fun. But I better have something left over at the end of it.
No, it's good. And there'll be a next time.
Yep. Next time,
And we'll
I'll
see what
maybe
the
get to
results
help
of like
you.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there will be a next time.
For the Otafest podcast.
Exactly. Goodbye.
See you next time.